Alright, we will remove the Phillips head screws around the outside of this clutch cover here, and we will pull this cover. Oil fill plug is here. It takes just over a quart. It says 1040 for oil. Take a hammer, we'll tap on it there. You can hear it break the seal when it does that. We'll pull this cover. There is your clutch cover there. There's your clutch here. And we've got your gear shifter here. $10mm on the bottom of that gear shifter that will remove to pull this arm. And then we've got the clutch bolt here, and it's a 7/8. I'll tip this motor so you're able to see it there. Alright, and we'll pull that. Alright, we're able to pull that clutch assembly off. Now it's got splines in the back. This gear sits right in there like that. And it's got a spacer here that it'll sit on. So there's your clutch pack assembly. Here's your oil pump here. We've got a snap ring here we'll take off to pull this gear. Your shift arm here. Snap ring is off, and then this gear will just pull up there. And this gear shaft should just slide out. We'll actually put this back on. And we're not too concerned about position of it right now. But this bolt will slide down in the center of this groove here. So splines on either side. Bolt is actually holding it in, so you could loosen this bolt and you still wouldn't be able to slide this arm off. So just make sure you're lining this arm up in the right position when putting this bolt back in so you don't damage those splines. We'll pull the oil pump here. There's a shift mechanism we'll pull. Two Phillips heads, well, 4 Phillips heads. And then same thing for the oil pump. We'll try removing those oil pump Phillips screws just with a regular screwdriver. Well, pull a C-clip there, and that'll allow us to be able to get to those Phillips easier. And there's a pin that'll slide through, so just make sure we don't lose that. Lose this little pin here. So we'll pull it out now. There's the pin. Okay, now we'll be able to use an impact on these Phillips for the oil pump. Alright, on the shift mechanism here, there's a lot of little pieces, so we'll try to keep that together. and I'll pinch right here when I'm pulling up, and that'll keep that together. Now I'll pull this housing will come out the other way, and we'll set this back in. So I'm going to set this down like that and hope that the springs don't come out. We could actually take vice grips or zip tie or anything put around there, but we'll just let it go there, keep those together. And we'll pull the oil pump here. And then put the pin back through it. With the gear on top. And then we'll put the clip back on. So just put it there. Grab pliers, pinch it down. Okay, now we will get ready to, we're going to pull the countershaft sprocket on the other side, and then we'll get ready to split this case. Oil drain bolt here, we've got the bolt in the center here. This whole assembly is able to replace, which is nice. If you strip that bolt out or damage those threads, you can replace that drain plug, that whole case there. So we'll pull these 3 8mm bolts. I'm going to loosen that drain plug now, just because it'll be easier to do it now rather than later. There's a screen in the bottom there. I had that case flipped upside down, you can see, but you'll see once we split that case. We'll flip it to the other side. Pull the countershaft sprocket, pull this shift gear here. Inch and 3/16 bolt to pull that off. And this is a specialty nut that pushes that sprocket farther onto that shaft, so don't just try using a regular nut on that. We've got holders here that you've got to push down with a flat screwdriver to remove these. And then 10mm bolts there. On this case, we've got 8mm bolts running all the way around the outside, which is a lot easier than if they were all Phillips. On these older motors, if you've got Phillips screws, just a little more difficult to get out. So C-clip here. Pull that gear off, that pin, otherwise we won't be able to pull that gear out of that case. We'll keep those 3 parts together, and we will go through now and loosen all these crankcase bolts. Looks like all these are loose, and I'm going to pull them out, otherwise they'll scatter all over. And then we will split that crankcase. So I like to put pressure on these studs, and then just tap. You can a lot of times feel when the case will kind of, that seal will break. There we go, and it broke there. So you can hear it, you can feel it. This is all aluminum, so you want to make sure that you don't hit an area that's going to break. Alright, now we'll take and set it on its side there. We'll just lift up on this. Now you can, a lot of times, just lift up on it and it'll break free. Just wiggle it a little bit, just walk it out. Sometimes you got to have a rubber mallet handy to just tap on these shafts if they're sticking. I like to, when I pry, if I need to pry, I like to pry on a motor mount area so that it doesn't damage crucial gasket seal areas. And it's a lot easier if you can keep everything on one side of the case. Sometimes something will stick and won't allow it, but this way then you keep all your gears together. So there the case is split. That's one side there. And then here's the other side. We've got your crank here. This crank is still in really good condition. We've got a shift fork that fell out here, and then a little roller here that fell out as well. Here's your shift drum. Then that is where this came from. So I pull a shift where a shift fork is, pull it out just slightly to get it out of the case, and then you're able to a lot of times pull those free, but everything kind of meshes together, so got to do a lot of wiggling. Okay, to pull this shifter shaft out, you've got to pull this 19 millimeter on the back side of this motor here. So it's a spring loaded with a ball on the end of it holding that shift shaft. So it's not a ball, but it's spring loaded, and it pushes into this shaft, allowing that to not come out until you pull that. So there's the third shift fork on this side. You got shift forks on this side. Here's your shift drum, and this is where this assembly came from. And we've got a little bit of work to do here to get these back in, but you can just use small screwdrivers, and they're all spring loaded. Make sure all the pieces are there. Make sure these pegs are going the right direction, and then slide it back on the top here. And as far as these other gears, you can just work them out. Probably all come out kind of together, so if one comes out without the other one, or one starts coming out, it might bind, so try to tap them all out together. You might use a rubber mallet to get them out. But that is splitting the case on a Suzuki LT185.